Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my lightning talk on citizen science and gamification. My name is Martin Planke, and I'm a PhD student in the Lepidoptera monitoring project, LEPMON, which is based in Germany. In LEPMON, we collect data on moth biodiversity using a special automatic camera system that you can see on the right. There will be a demo later on that's done by Dennis, my colleague, who is also here. And yeah. Pictures taken by that camera look something like this. It's quite high res, and there will be many moths in one picture. So the data analysis will be done using AI, which first localizes these specimens on the screen and draws these bounding boxes. And in a secondary step, a trained AI model will then classify these specimens to their species names. But how do we get to this trained AI model? You need annotated data for that in high quality on white background. So this is where citizen science comes in. Citizen science generally refers to engaging members of the general public in scientific research, and good examples we heard about already today, like iNaturalist. But for non-insect organisms, there's also eBird or Flora Incognita, which is actually developed in my hometown, Ilmenau in Germany. And all of these use the citizen scientists for data collection. So this is a way of, well, getting more data into your project. But we would also like to include the citizen scientists in the data analysis part, which I will dive into in a second. Lastly, citizen science can also help to increase your outreach outside of the academic community to also, make the project known in people who normally may not be in contact with research. Now, gamification, the use of gaming elements in non-gaming settings can help achieve all these goals, and it's already been being used for different contexts like learning. There's a good example called Brilliant, which is an interactive learning app, and it uses a clever gamification method for keeping people motivated using these streak charges that you can see with these lightnings. And once they run out, your streak ends. But on active days, you can work ahead and collect these. So I think it's a nice way to have people return to the app quite frequently. Another place where you can use gamification is work. So this HR company decided to track progress of work, phone calls done by their employees, and also implement a leaderboard so you can see a ranking of the employees. This comes with a little bit of a warning because gamification in work contexts can feel manipulative and should only be done with people actually wanting to participate in the system. Otherwise, this might quickly backfire, but it is being implemented. The last example of a context to use gamification would be physical exercise even. So the city cycling project, long-running project, is a seasonal call for people to hop on their bike, leave their car standing, and actually collect kilometers in teams. So they collect these miles done on a bicycle, and this also helps reach emission reduction goals to mitigate climate change. So that's a nice synergy right there with gamification. So how does that relate to LEPMON? How can we use gamification? Enter the LEPMON game series. The first entry that we conceptualized is Gotta Frame 'em All, which is also the name of my talk. And that will be run on Zooniverse, a citizen science platform. And it will prompt users to frame all the moths in the picture, which will look something like this once the user is done. And these cutouts will then be presented to moth experts for identification and further research like trait analysis, body size, things like that can be analyzed later with another algorithm. And then the user will also be prompted to mark all the non-moth animals in a different way, which could look something like this. Like the minute fly that you probably can't see, so I manually added that shoe bite, so you know what I mean. And this is a learning while working experience that the people will have. People will actually contribute to a scientific project, which gives their work meaning. I think that's very motivating for people. but they also passively make themselves familiar with shapes and colors of moths. They learn about insect biodiversity, and we hope to also include some info bites on insect decline and the ecosystem services that moths provide, and their relevance overall. And when people have participated in this annotation tool, we hope that they have become moth enthusiasts. So that'd be one goal, while also getting our pictures sorted, of course. We want them to work. The second entry is, this is the current state of the annotation tool, and yeah, people will be able to manipulate these bounding boxes, and there is an algorithm running proposing the bounding boxes initially, but as you can see, it's not perfect. There will be off targets like the wing being marked as a separate insect, or antenna cuts off, which is not good for identification. So people will do the quality control for that algorithm. Yeah, I would say we draw from some of the ideas that I talked about earlier, when we want to implement some gaming elements like streaks. I think it's quite clever what Brian was doing. But we would also want to break down the workload, because clicking through 37 million pictures is not going to be happening in one day, and we also hope not to have to annotate so many pictures. So maybe 5 to 10 pictures, like one of these large ones, is the workload for a week, or maybe one per day, things like that. So work packages is quite important. And then people could also get badges for marking non-moths in succession. The second entry is got to name them all. So that will be an expert annotation platform where people actually assign names to the species using a drop-down menu. And this identification will then be saved to the profile of that expert, and it will be visible that he was doing the work, which is quite important with experts. I think they need to be acknowledged for their work. So yeah, a gallery, wait, up. You can't really see, but we're talking about the moth in the bottom now. That is being enlarged once you click on it, and then people will choose the name. So this harnesses the expert knowledge of volunteering experts. Maybe we have some in the room, so it'd be really nice to, in the end, have people from Insect AI participating in this process as well. And we could implement things like competition using a point system for annotating many pictures or difficult pictures, which could be pre-sorted by an algorithm, but those are just ideas for now, and will take time to implement. What is important is the quality control of these annotations. So when one expert assigns a name, that will not be enough for that one picture. iNaturalist has that gold standard of having two people assign the same name to one picture to make it scientifically verified. And that's something that we could use in a gaming context as well. So one person could give that name to that moth. Maybe some of you are already really angry because it's not right. People will challenge that, and actually then put right name on it. It's the scarlet tiger moth, red hind wings, hint, hint. And then, yeah, this is what the cream spotted tiger actually looks like. No, this is a nice way of having data quality control. And with that, I would like to ask, are you already hooked on our app? See you in the Q&A session, and that's it from me. Thank you.
There's free popcorn. Okay, yeah.
Let's move on.